Yeah, go ahead.
So once we install Visual Studio, right? So okay, I was following this setup Visual Studio code thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let me send the link over the chat. Okay, if you can open that. Okay, so can you please scroll down? So I did the extension pack. Oh, here about the Java version. Do we need Java 15 will not work. We need 8 and 11.
No, not like that. Any latest Java versions.
Okay, but they also said that we need 8 and 11. So they said JDK 8 and 11 are supported. And if
Okay,
you have another version,
they're saying that still you require.
yeah,
So you try to install 11 also then. Or they're saying 8 or 11.
I do have both. My point is like I
Mm-hmm.
have in my bash profile, I have set up the path Java home
Mm-hmm.
and it is pointing to 8. But when I go to the terminal and find which version of Java I have, it's saying it's pointing to 15, that the one which got installed with Zulu when we were doing the data loader.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried multiple ways to change it to point to 8. I don't know why it does
No, you
not.
can uninstall Zulu in that case if you only for the data loader that Zulu would help out. So you can
Okay,
uninstall the Zulu and check with which version of the Java has been helping out. No, no,
okay.
okay, fine. Now the JDK, like let it be.
Mm.
So what is stopping that to create a project or something?
No, it's not stopping me to create a project, but here it said you need 8 or 11,
Um,
right? So I just wanted to make sure that my path is set up right.
okay, so the path anyway, that's fine. So did you try to install VS Code also?
Yeah, I did VS Code. This is a VS Code setup itself. I did this
No,
part,
VS
ensured.
Code, VS Code and extension pack inside the VS Code, all that is done.
What is that? I can you scroll down? I followed this step. This started. Can you scroll up a little bit?
It's this one.
Uh, yeah, that is done. I did that. Salesforce extension pack is done.
Hmm.
Can you scroll down, please? Mm, this I have done. Set up the instance. This thing. Development environment is ready. I was doing that and click.
No, this is something that where you try to um, scratch or then play with this. So did I give this one? Okay. Did you try to create a project and check?
I was almost like creating a project and something came in between. Somewhere I stopped. Okay, so when I was creating a lightning project, I guess.
Hmm.
I think it's the next step after this trailhead, the one which I gave you, right? There's a next step of it. I think it is.
This one.
Sorry, I'm not seeing.
First one, second, and third one.
Uh, set up set up your visual. Yeah, create a hello world lightning web component. I think that is the one after visual code.
This.
Yeah, this is the one. Here I was, and here if you go down, can you more down? This is what I'm not able to get. See, it's asking you for login to your Trailhead Playground
Hmm.
credentials. I did that, and I did the point number 7 as well. If you can scroll up a little bit, scroll up. I was not able to. Sorry, scroll down. Sorry. Okay, here this thing authentication. I did not get this output part. So here what it says in the console, you get this output and you get this part. I did not get this. The success message I did not get.
So were you able to log in?
Yeah, I did log in.
So
So
what
when
errors it wrote? What errors it wrote?
I did not get any error, but I did not get this. It says you need to
Now
get that
now
success message.
fine. Now let's say we'll try to give an access to you. You can share the screen.
Okay.
I'm making host. You can share the screen.
the host?
Yeah, you're the host now. Let me stop sharing.
Okay. Able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this is what I see, and I did not see anything in the output.
No, did you set up your? There is something.
Where?
Um, no,
Debug control.
not output. I think yeah, authorized it. Let me check. Um,
Uh,
can you click on that? So whatever project that you created,
I created the same what it says here, right? Entered a except the standard option.
project code with manifest, you created that.
Project code with manifest. Where is it? When I create here.
Control Shift P you do. Control Shift P.
Okay. Command Shift P. Okay.
Uh,
Create a project.
yeah, the creating a project was you created with the manifest. Create project with manifest. Just type SFDC, SFDX, SFDX,
SFDX. Okay.
colon create project.
It's only here. Recently use
No,
ID.
no, no, no.
Oh, I
Look
did
at
not do this. I did not
uh,
do this. I did not do that.
that is what is required.
But here it didn't say that. It says create project, enter the
Or else you cannot
accept
pick it up.
standard option.
So what happens without that? So you cannot fetch the components from your personal.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, no problem. You can do it again. What is this? So just Control Shift P and then create project with manifest to do. So you can see here.
Command P.
You can always come back to this auto, no problem.
Huh.
It's just a folder now. You can come back anytime here. Create project with manifest. So you do it. I'll show the difference.
Okay, now
Okay.
now I need to do standard
Standard. Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
I think that's what I did. Standard project template. That's what I did.
No, no. With manifest and without manifest also can have the same.
Oh,
So what I
okay.
could say the left hand side, there's a VS Code config force app. All we have no. Something there's
Mm-hmm.
a package.xml should be there.
Oh, there should be an XML too with the JSON.
Package.xml also will have. If you don't have
Oh,
that, what happens is you cannot retrieve the components from the
alt.
Salesforce your own personal or whatever you have created that you cannot get it. Let's say
Oh, okay.
some things you would have created so far.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, okay.
And if you wanted to deploy the lightning components also you cannot deploy. Let's say you
Okay.
click on the force app here. Let's before going to this, let's see. Uh, so you have
Forza.
yeah. Now let's say our application, so many things you have. Try to right click on the force app. Right click on the force app. Retrieve source from RAR. Give it. Retrieve
Retrieve.
the last option.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay.
Let's see what it says.
No results found.
So you gave the retrieve from the Salesforce you said, but there's no source found. Why? There's some file called as package.xml should be present. Only
Okay,
then,
but
only, only then.
did it connect successfully with the credentials what
Yeah,
I gave?
yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. But it's
Everything.
not able to look for the components in the org then, right?
Yes. So to
Okay,
make
okay.
easy, you just create a new project with manifest. So we don't want to do
Okay.
any circus saying that hey do that do
Uh,
this. Just go project create with manifest and then few things by default it will come, so it will be easy. You just do that. Let's do that same.
okay, want me to do that now?
Yeah, Control Shift P. Create project manifest. The first option.
Okay.
Standard
Standard
project.
project.
Give the project name like how did it.
Okay.
So give
Yes.
no not like that. Give your R name. So some project if you're working on then you wanted to create the project name, you can give them.
Okay.
Mm.
I can give that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And where did it go? What? Create a project. Again, I need to create here. Okay,
No,
it's the folder where I have to create. Okay, there it is.
mm.
Or where is XML? Package out in JSON itself. I don't see.
Manifest. There's a manifest.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now
Oh,
this is what is important. So this will allow you to retrieve the file from that particular location.
okay. Okay.
Now click
Yeah.
on the force app.
Right click, you mean?
I don't know.
Oh,
Actually,
just click on.
just click on force app. These many components are there. Towards the
Okay.
right, whatever you have. So Apex
Okay.
class, Apex class. Did you see the right side what you have in
Yeah.
the file section?
Yeah. This one, right?
It is trying to get all star means it indicates everyone.
Everything. Okay.
So Apex class get me all components, you get me all page, you get me all test your triggers. So lightning bundle component or our component. So this is how you
Mhm.
try to retrieve all the components. Getting.
Okay.
So now what
Okay.
it is, your project is ready plus your package.xml this all is ready, but you don't have an authentication you have set so far. So Control Shift again you do it.
Command Shift P.
Yeah.
Okay.
So authorize an org. Yeah.
Authorize and all.
So which it is login.salesforce.com, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now give a name for it. So let's say maybe
Oh.
cred. Some name you can give it.
Okay.
So this is something that you're setting a password. So where
Oh,
in the downside of the org you can always refer to. So this will take you back to directly to a browser page where you have to authenticate by using your login name and password credentials you have to give it.
okay. So this is the one which uh, the org here. I need to log in with the one which was in the trailhead. It asked me to reset the password. Do I need to do that, or I can give any
No,
org
no, no.
which I
The
have had?
moment you just log in, I mean the URL it takes you to log in. Which org if you're trying to log in is the RenoBB which org you're trying to implement. So that username and a
Okay.
password you have to give it. So generally login with the RenoBB some username and a password you log in, right? The same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now, do I see any success message here that
No,
it has got connected?
actually I didn't see the other window where you give username and a password. So where that org is successfully logged in,
It says here, authorize and org successfully ran.
that's all.
Oh, okay, okay.
So,
Show.
so cancel this, yeah.
Oh,
Authentication.
okay, okay.
Okay,
This
just
is the
close.
success one.
Yeah,
You
close
want me
this.
to close this? Okay.
No, no. I'm saying
Uh-oh.
no, no problem, no problem. So do a right click here. So always from a manifest if you do it is going to retrieve all of your components. So the last option,
Okay.
retrieve source in the manifest from the org. So this will try to pull all the components from the org if it is present.
Okay, okay, okay. So now what will it do? Whatever we created the objects and all, it will come here.
So you can see at least this time it tried to figure out there's a lightning quick start apex class for test class has been created. Do you see this? Go to
Right.
classes section. Go to class section. Or after that, there's a class. See if your class has been created for us.
Okay.
These are dummy classes though, but still, you got that right from that particular one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
whatever you are having in your Reno BB org, so
Mm-hmm.
some XYZ things are there. It's all got it here. So these are the
Okay,
few
okay.
components respective to class and other stuff. You can also get objects then their respective configurations you can get. But where your manifest file should be a little more bigger than them. You see
Okay.
the manifest, right? That is simply you acquiring for Apex class and component. If there is a like say
Mm-hmm.
object, custom object, so even they also will be brought down here.
Okay, okay, okay.
So you've been only few components are there to retrieve, so only those things have been bought. Let's say you're trying to query for profiles. Okay, there'd be a separate folder here on the right side what you see class. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
profile folder section over there. And whatever the profiles you create in your org, all that would come and sit here.
Okay, okay.
It's like a complete of your org, you can take a backup and keep it here. And then you can work on it. Something you want to
Mm.
change, again you can deploy back. So to the org
Mm.
whichever you are modifying it.
Okay,
So
okay.
there's like a dev environment where you play with it. Either you directly play there or you can come and down, come in, you can have a copy of here and then you can play it.
So what is SFDX? Salesforce, what is DX?
So this is for the where we do a development and deployment we do it, right? So that's the reason they've given us DX.
Okay, okay. So this is a standard command, like sfdx is some kind of command in Salesforce.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
see the majority what SFDX, the meaning itself is a Salesforce developer experience with
okay,
the CLI. All you do with the
okay.
command line. So majority you do here if you see Salesforce developer experience command line interface you do it, right? I don't know. Okay, I have not shared my screen, I think. So that's the reason.
No, I you want me to stop it?
Okay, anyway, you can
So
sorry,
what?
if it just
It's a normal terminal, right? A command prompt what to use.
so but we don't generally come here. We just say you click on problems.
Problems.
That tab will lift the first tab.
Oh, okay, okay.
So you know problems related output. You click on it. So generally, here's the place where you see whatever the changes that you do, deployed, whatever, all the results will be shown in the output.
Okay.
Let's say you are trying to save it. Let's say Lightning Connect Quick Start dot CLS. No, then click on that.
Oh, oh,
The
which
class
one?
name, the first one, first one.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay.
Right click on that, and then say deploy to the sourcer.
Deploy list
Some
resource.
yeah, something that you modified here, you assume, and then
Oh, oh,
deploying back to your own, or you do it.
oh,
So
oh,
it says
oh.
successfully. Now see
Yeah.
the output. See the output. Scroll up, and you can see recently that you have deployed the same component again back. See, left
Hmm.
deployed source. The last one you can see. Every time it goes
Okay.
along with the .csv file with the .xml file also will go because it's not simple component. Your meta file is going actually always.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
1 second.
Okay.
So you got an idea, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were able to retrieve, authorize, and you are able to deploy back to the your own org.
Mm, mm.
So this is something that the basic installation is required. So hereafter, what we do, we play with it. I think we'll get an understand about it.
Okay.
So so you all
And
have configured in your Mac system, right?
yeah, this is Mac. Yeah.
So need not to worry about it. Your packages, though you have 8, 11, don't care. So you have set the path, so it is working perfectly.
Okay. Okay. It should be fine, right then?
Yeah, it should be fine. So now you are eligible to create a lot of components and then push it back, or from there retrieve it, whatever it is. It's all can be
Okay.
possible.
And you'll explain this default things what gets created. It is lint ignore or it is force ignore.
So this all when you have an options of deploying your components or retrieving from the Git and then doing all this stuff, right? So
Right.
these are the supported script files which help you out. For example, something you change in this org, but your org is already connected to a Git, you think. So that
Mm-hmm.
time the force, sorry, Git ignore, force ignore, this ELN ignore, this all as a what do you say, JS files that you have it, like our
Okay.
bash files, like JS files you have it here.
Okay.
So these scripts are helping you out when you wanted to deploy or something you wanted to retrieve, all the variants files we have here.
Okay.
But
Okay.
this we don't touch majority here. This all talks about the supportive files for to run the project.
Okay. Yeah. All this. Okay. Fine.
So
And
where
how
is
do you
the
compile and run it? I mean, or you just right click and how do we compile this?
so there will come. So we are yet to start with that.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Too many questions. I'm sorry. Okay. I
So
think
yeah,
I'm done with my
of
question.
course you can see there's a click on developer console here, debug console here in the third
Depends.
box. Yeah, you write something and you check what is the results when they are here.
Okay. Okay.
But to get into the debug console, firstly, what component that we are doing it? Let's look into it. So moreover again, so there's something called as Apex PMD. You can also install that extension.
Okay.
No, not here, not here.
Where do we
Um,
have to go?
there's a four boxes. The fourth
Oh
box,
yeah,
yeah, that's
explore.
the
Okay.
extension box. The Apex PMD you have to install.
PMD. Okay.
So this, the second one.
The
What this
second one.
helps us is, like as I think you were saying about code quality check,
Right. Right.
and this helps you out. So click on that install small button. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's installed now.
So you have to configure it, like setting the path
Oh.
where the PMD is been installed, and that path
Mm-hmm.
you have to give it here in the features config. Come down.
Feature contributions.
No, 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 no. So there's a toggle button we have, no? Span like something like so
Is it
disable install. The next thing is small. You can see extension.
settings? Okay.
Yeah. So extension settings here.
Extension settings. Okay.
Scroll down. So
Let me
here you have
try.
to give a path where the Apex PMD bin file is there,
Okay.
and then
Now,
bin.
how do I know where the bin file is at?
I mean, you are setting the path, right? So where exactly the folders of this PMD would be installed. Apex PMD bin path. So when you set this bin path, like how a Java runtime what to do is just go quickly see to the bin file. So whatever
Mm-hmm.
that we code written, so it will compile in that particular format and say, hey, you have been having a for loop instead of statement, or you have to give variable name properly. So all that indicates. So you can just
Okay.
simply Google saying that, hey, Apex PMD, how to configure.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they give
Sure.
a
I'll do
simple
that.
ways, yeah, simple ways they give, and you can enable them.
Okay. Okay.
The majority thing is your Java should be up and running.
Hmm.
So it's already for you up and running. So you need not to worry
Okay.
about it.
Okay. Sounds good.
So that way
Yeah.
it is pretty easy for you now.
So sorry, I am listening, but I lost. So I need to download JDK 11.
Yeah, 8 or 11, she was like saying, because in the page that it was it mentioned there.
Okay.
But I don't, people are like having the latest version also. It's working fine. But however, so you can have that 8 or 11 version.
Default, some version will be there, right? Java.
You can just go to the command prompt and then check Java hyphen version and see what is the version that in your PC you have.
No, I don't think
Oh.
nothing is there.
So you try installing that and select what Jamshid has sent an URL in the link. No, just try to have a VS Code install. First prior thing is Java, and the next thing is CLI, because these are very important things for a SFDX command. CLI is the one of the very important thing. Or else effective SFDX commands won't work.
Yeah.
So then you install VS Code and come to the fourth point as an extension where the from top fourth icon where the box is, so that is an extension. So if it's typed there as a Salesforce extension pack, you will get it where she has typed Apex PMD. So there, if you do an Salesforce extension pack, like as you follow in the instruction, in the trailer they have given the page. Same if you follow, I think you can go through. Then what I'm trying to say is create a project with manifest. I don't know why Salesforce not given that. So create a project with manifest. So that's how you can retrieve the components from that particular R and again push back the components whatever you modified to back to the particular source R. Now the source R is your own developer learning box. What you say is a source R. From there only we are retrieving it, and from there only to that only we are deploying back.
Download. We need an Oracle account again to Java
No,
download.
no,
You
something.
can do it from Brew, right? If you're having home Brew, it is you can install that.
Yeah,
Or there's some they
recently what
have
they're
this
asking.
thing,
Yeah,
adopt open JDK thing, which I was trying to do. You don't need anything credentials for that. You get multiple versions of JDK.
no, Oracle recently what they don't know. So irrespective or I mean they're not asking money for it. Just sign up to our account and then download like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has been for long.
Yeah. Adopt. I think downloading.
Yeah, Kant, I think those are the questions I had. So I'll stop sharing.
Yeah. So one of the key which I wanted to have is so make sure your VS codes and then setup is ready. So anytime this type of an environment you guys would go through. And for you, Apex VM do you configure? So
Hmm.
tomorrow, whatever the code you try to write it, write on to the. So maybe I would say you for easy learning purpose, developer console. Maybe that is a quick thing to watch out, and then write a snippet and then test it out.
What is
Uh,
developer? What developer console? Sorry, I didn't get that.
yeah, we'll be doing that only as of now. And also, I
Okay.
get few classes extracted from there to this org, like say VS Code. Now, any changes I want to do it, how do I do? I'll show you.
Okay. Let me make you the host back.
Yeah. See the SFDX. All what you see is it's a command line interface. Salesforce developer experience with the command line tools or command line components, whatever you see. You would be giving SFDX colon create project. So eventually, this is a command to do create a project with manifest project. Authorize an org. It's a command. So maybe we are doing with via through point click, but eventually it is doing a command inline interface either from the behind the scene. Oh, sorry, guys, I was on mute. My God. I don't know where I stopped talking to you. Okay, so what I was saying is Salesforce DX specifically talks about the command line interface where the moment you type something, you get results, right? So when you create a project, let's say create project with manifest, it's a command. Create SFDX colon authorize an org, it's a command. Everything you have a shortcut commands also keys. So the CLI commands are helping out to do such activity from the behind the scene. And it is majority helping in the developer experience to do deployments quickly also. Even the CLI commands has deployment activity to create a new project. Not only the project, they can create a source org as well. Entire org they can create also. Okay, that we'll see it later time because our syllabus also will help you out at least giving high level hints on deployment of SFDX things. So today you've seen about the VS Code and about few commands about the SFDX. So we will say about change it in some time when some components we build. And Flowsum, I do have some video link that some company has explained about how do you do a deployment. But just for the learning purpose, you should see it. No, do not share anyway. Otherwise, code report checking. Okay, this is anyway now. Okay, so what you're gonna do is we're still stuck with the basic of Apex. So just like we're kickstarting there. So I wish that if Sushila is there, she would have more idea of how we do our types and variables. Because if you have Java background, quickly you can do all the stuff. So how do you go to developer console? The moment you log in, you just click on this Google button, setup, or you see there's a developer console. What this console helps out is it helps out you to do a quick test and development and deploy, not like deploy, you're directly working on your arcs or in any deployment. Look at this, you can create file new. I can create Apex class trigger, visual force page component. So before we don't have any IDE support. So this itself was a development environment for us. Getting? So priorly we were connecting with Eclipse as a force.com IDE, and with the plugin that we will configure from Eclipse to do the same activity like how you're doing in VS Code. Getting? Even there also the package XML would be there, so that helps you to deploy from one to another. But that was a huge one. So where you have to pick all the components and then do deployment. So it'll say that whether it is pass or fail. A couple of things was there also. So that's the reason they were using anti-migration. Even there also package.xml would be there. So all of this like on the later side, okay, people are like environment tied to the VS Code, the SFDX command line interface came in picture. So that is making our life more easy. If you see. So something we have here to debug, open execute anonymous, control plus E. So what if you see that control plus C, this is a small execution block appears. This is an anonymous window we say. So what do you mean by anonymous window? This is typically something you write and you wanted to quickly test it out. For example, this is like a printf statement. System.debug in Salesforce we say it's like a printf statement. I'm clicking on open log. So that's something you're gonna highlight and execute, and instantly I'm saying that you open or log automatically. I don't want to click and open it. So this log already if it appears and you double click and then you open this log. So instead while executing only if I check that open log, so automatically it'll open. You need to do a second level click. So there's this many buttons you have. In this frame, what you could see in terms of execution, what are the things run through? What are the few executable statements that is run through? You can see here. Colon start, colon end. So in the between what some debug statement is executed. Specifically, you wanted to capture only the debug statement. So then this is a filter. Hello world. This is what you debug. So that's the reason you can see. In a program, you can have several debug statements. So if you just click on debug, so you will see system.debug wherever you have been printing. So all the debug would be printing here. So this all helps for a development to debug and check where we are, what we're doing, in which line what executed, and in which line because you are printing there. No? So the moment you come to that block, you're printing something. The moment you go to another block, you're printing something. Generally, any program you work, we want to see that okay, step by step execution or the method whether it is got entry or not. You put some debug statement, you check it. Same way. So you click on a debug filter, so that will appear here. Something you want to search in this, so then you can type something flatly here. See, I'm typing HE, so whatever it is matched HE, it is bringing that. So in this four of these checkboxes, majority debug and filters you would be using. Debug is whatever the debug statement you put, and filter is something that you don't know what statement you're searching, but you wanted to give a starting keras so that it will bring all the matches of that particular string.
So, Kant, when actually we are working, we will be using developer console more than VS Code.
So I would say that developer console is like um, so this is the basic of doing a development. I would say. So once you're familiar with this, you can just move on to the VS Code. Now, for example,
Okay.
if you want to do a small test, there's a quick.
Mm.
This is a quick place. Why? Because you
Okay.
would have already logged in.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, to the system you have been to the to your org, you would have been logged in, and you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to check a quick result. For that, you would not go to the VS Code and do a small type and then check. You wouldn't do it basically. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
for a deployment, sorry, maybe for a code that you wanted to check into some repository. So that time you may have to get into the VS Code.
Okay.
So the adoption is very important. If you learn from the VS Code, you would be there only. But what
Okay.
few things we can do it here, it is not possible still there in VS Code.
Like.
Like to quickly check the debugs and see what is the result.
Mm-hmm.
See whatever I've just debug here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just written a simple value and then I debugged here. So like you may be acquiring a complex query here. That also you cannot see. It will take a lot of time to process and get the results. You'll be, what is this? It's a minute job here. Maybe you're spending 5 minutes there. Let's see. I will tell you what I'm trying to do it in the debug console. So let's say I'm trying to get. I want to get the list of account. So this is the collections when we talk about here. I'm just giving an example how a collections works. So I'm using list here. So I wanted to query select name from account. So this would get me all the accounts. I don't put any limit here. So this account has 50,000 records, 20,000 records, whatever the records, it will get me. It's just like select star from account, how to do. There's no limit of records you're giving it. But where I said as select name from account means it's specifically this field only I wanted it. Because currently star is not being utilized in this. I don't know which version is this. Star is yet to come, I think. It is on the progress of to get it. But select name from account is the one which I'm simply giving a query. So this would get me all the accounts and it's a collection, right? So it can take more number of records. It's not a singleton record, it can take more number of records. Let's say 30 records are returning. So this ACK list having 30 records. And you wanted to print and then check them. System dot debug and you wanted to print ACK list whether how many records you have. You just simply queried and you're printing them. So this means so easy. You're just quickly checking there and then you're checking debug and then seeing up the results, how many records we have so far. Okay. Of course, this you can do in the query editor. Select name from account also would do the same. Meaning, it all depends on you. You may have a complex queries you written there. Maybe so this is a flat query where you can do. Maybe I can get the child accounts also, child contacts also. I would come there and then again write another query here called select last name from contacts. I'm giving a Google form and then for this account associated all the child records I'm getting it. Contact child record I'm getting it. You see this. So this particular accounts associate contacts we're getting it here. So to this level it's fine, but you wanted to progress something onto these. Based on these results, you're trying to write another query. And based on these results, you're trying to do another query. So you are putting a relativity of here to here, and this is some other object, and this is some other object. So what I'm trying to say is this results, whatever you do, you give it to next. And this results you give it to next. So that way, 1 or 2 level, 3 level, if you keep going, so this cannot execute. I mean, query editor cannot do that. So you can write such lines and you can pass on the results and you can get from the second query. These results you can pass to third query and you can do some activity. Where and what I'm trying to say is instead of so what I was saying here is I don't want to put a very big statement saying that maybe it's complex or not assume on. Very simple thing what I'm trying to say is if you want to have too many queries and then process one after the other to check like a program. So this developer console, I mean this debug log would help us. Anonymous window. This is something we call an anonymous window. This is quickly helping us to figure out some results rather to write a program and then execute and check. So this is the quick one to check about what we're expecting. It's like a quick check you do it. Before you write a huge program, you do want to do trial the snippets, right? Few things it's working or not. Will I be able to get these small results? Okay, then I apply to the original logic. Something should be there for you to do a trial and check of few snippets. So this will help you out. This anonymous window is so powerful so that it can insert a record, query a record, it can start a batch, it can abort anything. So just it's a small command line interface, how you see a terminal. So I think that way
Mhm.
it's so powerful to execute anything it can do. In a real world, how do you do it? You just go here, you try to create a new record account. Via through backend statements, I can insert a new account also from here. It can call another class, it can pass a values to that. All that you can do. Where VS Code, what we're trying to do is it's something that where you create a new class and then you write all the logic and then you deploy to this org. So it is more a professional way to handle it in the VS Code where unless you know a few tactics about how to create a class and how to deal with them, then it's fine. So for beginners, I would recommend a developer console first to start and practice with. And so why I'm saying here is so you can see the quick results. Yes, of course we'll go to the VS Code and we do a lot of stuff there. Of course LWC we have to write there only. There's no option because anywhere if you see here, no LWC is present here. Still lightning component, lightning interface, like that only they will talk. These are lightning components will talks about Aura lightning component, it's not an LWC. So maybe they will come in future, but still the that interface will not come up here to create a lightning web component so far. Getting? So all this what I'm trying to say is so this is a quick place where to create and then do a check for an initial beginner level. For learning purpose, we can see the quick results and we have to do a test. Where at the very beginning only if you do a quick deploy and then see the results and it takes a lot of time, you will be pissed off. What is that? To see a system dot output. The debug log also I should wait so long time. So it will not be good. Correct? You put a debug, quickly check here. That is this also work the same way and that also work the same way. So when you have to adopt VS Code is when you're dealing with the project, they ask you to develop some ABC component. Of course, you know what to do with. Again, you can try to create here also, or you can create from the VS Code also. Still, that is fine. But to run your small logic snippets and check how it works, basic things. So developer console is one of the area. For example, if you don't have any systems with you, if you travel outside and then you wanted to see the results, something went wrong, you can log in via through phone only to this developer console and you can check the code what you have written. So let's say open. If you see classes, you see some class here, and then you open. Okay, let's see. So this is already designed because this is a managed package. So managed package classes no one shows. That's the reason we see managed package. Hmm, I think we didn't get anything yet, right? So look at this. Let's say um, you would have gone to VS Code and you would have created some page. You think so? The same page you can open here also, and you can modify and you can save also. So getting so if you don't have VS configured systems, you don't have laptop with you, you don't have any development stuff with you. Still, you can open via through mobile browser and you can check this developer console and see the snippet what went wrong and where it went wrong. Getting so this is the something like quick access to your code, and then you can again do a change, save, deploy. I mean to check the results, what is going on, and what is the log it recently generated. All this you could see from the mobile only. Okay. What I'm trying to say is the developer console is browser based. It's always tied to you. You can absolutely, if you don't have any IDs, also still you have to survive. We have this one. I'm still getting.
Yeah, but for lightning components, we cannot use this, you said, right?
Yeah, only for the lightning components. Maybe they are working. So when the Aura they have launched, so that time, so they were maximum they were getting this lightning component and interface.
Hmm.
But when it comes to LWC, they didn't have a thought. Maybe they were focusing on to the let's say to let the product be first, and we'll have this add these quick actions to create a new lightning component later state.
Hmm.
But they've given an options for us to practice online. Like say they call us playground.
Right.
Lightning LWC playground. So you can see that the moment when you try to create a component, what are the files that is created? Like you created a project as of now, right? So the moment you create
Yeah.
a project, you see a couple of things at the left hand side. You are seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like say uh,
Force.com and
Force.com, App Store, sorry, Force app, and then below you can see Apex class. A
manifest scripts. Mm-hmm.
lot of things that you are seeing in the moment you try to create a project, including
Right.
manifest and so many things. Likewise, to create LWC component also, so they come up with few things. Let's say CSS, HTML, JS. HTML and JS are very important thing. CSS is something that you could add additionally.
Okay.
You getting this? So this is the one we can right away preview and check it. Like how you, I don't know whether if you have an idea about how a tutorial points or W3 schools, where you can quickly check
Yeah.
the results and you can preview it. The same way
Right.
like this. Write JavaScript. I'm just writing SF here. Do you see this SF instantly previewed here? So this is all just like for a quick thing. You can do it and then you can see the results. You can also create a new component and then you can also play with that. It's just like all preview based, but nothing, technical things you can do it here. Let's say for the UI purpose, okay, this is what I'm expecting, something we have here or not, you can check. You can run and check
Okay.
the results. So basically, I would say that it is like a W the schools you wanted to preview right away, instant. So this will help you out. So there's something they're saying here. Playgrounds will be retired on March today. Oh my god, today only it is. All saved projects will be permanently deleted at the time. Instead, try a third-party solution, web components app to edit and preview your components in your browser. So I think for a beginner, for learning purpose, they brought this, and then they wanted to move this to something else, like say web components too.
Okay.
I think you have to. The good thing that we're seeing this is
Oh, so all the playgrounds will be deleted today? I did not see that. I was doing some trailers.
no. Leave about the normal trailer playground should be there.
Oh, okay,
For
okay.
LWC, what you play with the this type of see
So
sometimes
it's
what they
like,
do is um, they do work here and then they try to save it in our playgrounds
okay, okay.
and do not expect that the same thing would be there. Look at this project files, copy, save, and all we have now.
Oh, it's
So
like ID itself, right? Almost like a.
so these guys they've bought like an ID, like
Hmm.
how this is more easy.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
This
They
is
have
more or less.
inbuilt
This is more or less like
VS
you're
Code.
loading the VS Code online.
Okay, okay, yeah.
So this looks much better, I think. I mean, yeah, of course, there's a product. They will come up with a solution. So the browser doing this and previewing it takes a lot of time. Rather, like you have some frame to display the results. It will be pretty easy.
Hmm.
So the same thing you have, but how do you run this? See, look at this already. They have got it here. Getting same
Yeah.
thing, right? So you have a file structures here. So you have the source code here, and you have a display to results. What it looks like. So this is one of the very important area that we have to see in the future state. But this is absolutely
Whatever
for
whatever you're showing is for VS Code, or this one is different?
this is for a LWC thing. Where we are showing it. See the overall what I wanted to show actually here is how you are seeing a preview here.
Uh-huh.
Tomorrow you wanted to let's say for in developer content specifically what you don't have is this one. Lightning web components only thing you don't have here.
Yeah,
Other
for
things
Lightning.
yeah for Lightning web component specifically how to release this is the one we have now. The recent one.
Oh,
Of course they had a playground to check quickly like this, but they're returning today. Anyway, so they also given some link. Please go to this and check and preview whatever
oh,
you
web
want.
component dev. Okay, okay.
So the
Some
web
place.
components is of course we have this.
Okay,
Then
okay.
I don't know. They could have involved, put that link here saying that when I just create a new component, so
Yeah,
clicking on
directly in the
them,
developer, you can put that web
uh,
component
yeah. So they could have given links. So the moment I click, I would have come here.
directly. Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't type anything as of now because they wanted to keep separately if you think. Okay, anyway, no problem. But what you can get maximum is see only the a trial or like something you create a new component that only we have here, like app CSS, HTML, JS, like that we have here. So we don't have an entire project like how you showed a VS Code project, right? App code that don't we have, but this all looks like pretty like same as VS Code. So this I'm saying, even you want to create in future state, if you think that developer console maximum what they can do is, but only they think they don't have LWC. Other thing you have everything here. So otherwise we're good. So what I wanted to show was all types. Sometimes you write a test class and you want to see the results. So it says on the right side the code coverage. So these are the quick place to check. Write a test class and then run the test class and see what is where it is failing and what is the percentage run. Um, See, running from a IDE and that IDE is hitting to the sales bazaar, again getting the results back to IDE and show the results, it takes little time. Rather, you're running directly to that system and executing it will be much more faster than that, right? A third party touching to the Salesforce and getting back and just showing the results would take little more time than the directly checking the results onto the system. There's a lot of difference. The only thing is what I'm trying to say is for a quick check, you can get it, see it like this, not for often. So it all depends on your project. If they strictly wanted to also do in VS Code only, you can do that. But of course, whatever the strict it is, you have to test developer console for sure. For some reasons, which is even still not possible in the where the ID like VS Code is doing today. See something whichever is easy for us, you please go with that. That's all. You don't make any rules saying that here only, there only. No. But make sure whatever the code you change here, it is also retrieved in your VS Code. Let's say I'm having a class here. I've modified the class and I saved it here. And your VS Code, if you don't pull this, whatever the recent change you did, because something like you are making the change on the server itself, but your local repository doesn't have any copy of it. So it doesn't, I mean, it's not good, right? So you have to pull them, right? So whatever the changes been recently made in. So like that you think. So anyway, so these are like, there are so many things out of box will be going, keep going on. So let's see how the data types would work and then move on. How do we do things? So let's say data types. I would say control here only I'll try to do it. Let's say integer is a data type. So yesterday while going back through our developer guide, so let me follow the same developer guide Salesforce. Because when you go through like the proper PDF and the sorry the developer guide, so you will be onto the right track. So I think data types in variables. So when I talk about data types here, so if you see here, so it's let's say so these are the types. Primitive data types we call it, where integer, double, long, date time, string, and even again we have object. Again we have a collection called as list, set, map, and something we have type list called enum, and we have user defined apex class also. Like say we can write specifically about apex class and objects and interface we can create it. And sometimes we can, yes, of course we can pass the constants. um, Constant in the sense so you can say final keyword and then you can assign a value. If a value is not been assigned to any variable, by default they are null. So likewise, if I just come to data types here, so we have primitive data types. So in the primitive data types, so this is the one we have. So what is that blob? Binary large object. So whenever you deal with the files, uh, to create a file or to anything to deal with the file, so we use blob. Basically, the file attachments, the attachment would go always in the binary large object. Likewise, any image you see, it will be stored in zeros and ones. Any file you wanted to convert, that will be in zeros and ones. So that's the reason any related to file attachments, so we use blobs. So where you say sometimes you wanted to attach a file and then you want to send it to a third party system. From Salesforce SAP you are sending a thing. So blob is the one which would carry your data of the file attachment. So always the attachment of a body would be there in the blob. And what you see is by basically it will be a binary data in this zeros and ones that will be having it. So I was saying you say for example blobs can be accepted as the web service arguments. Why? Because you wanted to take some document from one system to another system. So blob will be helping out to carry the document in such a pattern that zeros and ones it will try to move to the other party without any restrictions or any crazy things. So this is the one which is easy making us to work with. So how do you create it is it's like sorry, let me build open developer console. Yeah, we come to we're just seeing on the blob how to look to deal with. Blob B is got a new blob. Basically, you're instantiating. So generally in Java, so you'll be instantiating this only like class name, instance variable is equal to new class name. Same thing. Even the blob, integer, everything is a class here. So though they say it as a data type, but eventually they're class. Even in Java, also the same thing. String I, you do it. String is actually a class, but they represent as data type because they have a couple of methods with them. Same thing here also. So for example here, so blob B is equal to new blob you have written. String str is equal to some value you are putting it here. ABC. So to print an actual statement of an instance variable, so we use this way. Plus we use it because you are trying to concatenate this with the original result, right? So we use plus. So if you don't want anything, you can directly give them like this. You're just printing it. Some text you want to display along with the results you want to do is use some hyphen like say text. In other programming language, to for a string we may use double quotes. So in Salesforce we use only single quotes for strings. And to concatenate with the original results, use plus. So let's say if we do this, it says type cannot be considered to blob. So you're giving a string. How do I know that is it's a string? Sorry, this is not the right one. Just a minute. I'm just passing like a single argument. Sorry for that. So let's say b is equal to, you're trying to assign b is equal to this. So will it work? If I do this, it says type cannot be constructed blob. So for this, what it do is basically, so we have to convert them to a blob value. So let's say str. So you whatever the respective trace, you're typecasting back to the blob value, and then you're assigning to b. So that b if you print, it will work out. So it has three params inside. I mean three chars inside. So that's the reason it's showing. So originally, what if you send your thing A B C, we are sending it. So likewise here, I could have a big huge file attachment. So let's say PDF thing. So PDF converted the whole text you can put into a blob, and then this is your body can be. So that's how you try to transfer the files from one system to another system. So when it is like a zeros and ones files, it will be like a compressed one. So you can transfer easily to from a website. So from one application to another application. So that's the main use case of this blob I'm saying. Otherwise, if you see integer, int is equal to, mm, yeah, we have to specify the full name of integer. Int is generally in other programs we have, but in Salesforce we have to mention full variable name. So this is like something you are assigning a variable to this, and then you're no printing it out. Oh, reserved keyword it says. See, whatever I send a value, I could see there. Sometimes what happens in the string, see everywhere typecasting would be available. So it's a completely number, but it's a string. So even I can do this one thing. So where I can type integer dot value of, I can convert that str. Str is original holding the numbers. If they have something I something like this, it won't work out. But if it is a flatly a number, I can typecast that to an integer. I can save them. So I'm getting from string. I've typecasted back the value to integer type, and that I'm assigning to the ints. So this type of a quick snippet and check, it's this is not available in any IDE. It's though it is available, it will be still more delayed one to show the results what we're doing it here. So developer console is making us to quickly to check and then play with the results. What is next? So making your time saving things. If you go with the ID and all, it will take a lot of time to process and get the results and show back. So for this, you would have waited a minute. So here, maybe in 10 seconds, you're seeing this. So that's the difference you have. You see this? So what are the name this are given? So what if it is a one single chars if you have invalid integer? Because I it cannot be converted to integer, right? So why is because it's not a flat integer number. It is having one string in that. How can I typecast this value to integer? Integer only take numbers, but you have a char here. Getting? Any question, guys? What is the whole thing only? Just like how do you typecast? Now do you assign values to a data type and check? Any questions here?
No.
Relating to
No,
your relating to your program, like say Java, do you have any other? You can figure out some questions, or is it fine?
No, I'm good with this.
Perfect. So now let's come back to the developer primitive types here. So like we have Boolean. So it's like true or false variable, right? It's a flag we can always have here. So Boolean is winner, true, false. So one thing about the Boolean is, maybe in Java the programs, if you don't set, there would be some default value. In Salesforce, if you don't set any value, look at this guys. If you don't set any value, by default they are null. If you set them by true or false, whatever it is, I accept it. But you don't set any value, not only for the Boolean, for anything, they'll be null. The unset value of a systems in this variables, whatever it is always null. So Boolean we always know it's a true or false. So if I didn't define it all, so I would expect it should be false. No, if you don't decide even the values to set for the Boolean, they will be a null at the very beginning stage. We should be careful about it. Not only this, any variables you don't assign to them and you directly print them, so it will be null. So when a null program is executing, you may throw an exception called null pointer exception can rise. So make sure every time, so the record is not null, the value is not null, you have to process them and you have to get inside. Otherwise, we're good with the data types. So each and everything, whatever you see here, it is we say it is a data type, but eventually individually are classes here. When I said date, we can just deal with the date methods. System dot today will deal with today's date. System dot now would turn with the see the lot of date methods we have here. Date time methods we have here. So prior to that, let me just print you out. So when I say date dt is equal to system dot. So again, one more thing is this small window we have no. So this will help you out to display a functions which you have in Salesforce. So the moment you have this, let's say the system is a class name. Dot if you give what are the methods you have in this, it will show you. So these are the one which will make your life easy. So whereas in the VS Code other stuff, which is not popping like this to help you out. So if you're looking for something, say today.
So one question was, Kant, since you were talking about data types.
Mhm.
So are there anything like primitive data types and non-primitive data types also here?
Yeah, we're dealing with primitive now.
Uh, okay. So here, like for the Boolean, right? So you're like, okay, in here in Apex, it's only big B Boolean. There is no lower like, so
It's
you
a
can only
it's
have
a
true,
case
false, or
insensitive.
none.
It's a case insensitive. Come
Okay.
again with the question.
So in Java, we have like lowercase Boolean also, right? Smaller. Those are primitive data types, right? Boolean, and it's like it will only have true or false, and it will not have null value.
Hmm.
So if you are defining a lowercase Boolean and if we are not assigning any values, by default it will be false. But if you want to use non-primitive
Mhm.
and avoid null pointer exception, then we use big B Boolean. So we don't have those confusion in
Yeah,
Apex here.
we don't have no.
Okay.
And this is moreover, it is a case insensitive. The moment when I
Okay.
say case insensitive, you can write small boolean or you can write caps boolean. So all it means the same.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah. So why they come up with the null pointer exception is because to not deal with the garbage collection. So when I say you don't define, okay, you're not define null it is. So flat, I
Right.
don't have any value in it. So or else
Okay.
I should predefine some value for it.
Okay.
That's how the garbage would come up. Because I didn't set you are setting it, and when I'm trying to represent them, you're giving me something else. So those are what term to a garbage, which are intentionally programmer didn't give it. So
Can
any
you tell me something? What is blob? Sorry, I forgot to ask. I thought it was some standard class.
I was saying about binary large object when you deal with the attachments.
Okay.
So far I was explaining the same, I think.
I was lost somewhere, I guess. I was thinking it was a class. So this is most commonly used data type?
So one of the use data type. What I'm trying to say is when you want to deal with some attachments, so you use this.
Okay. Okay.
So you are composing an email. You think
Mm-hmm.
you have a to address, you have a subject, you have a body, and so then you are attaching a file to it. Get it?
Yeah.
So now this attachment has to reach to a destiny, the to address which you given in an email ID.
Uh-huh.
Now, even the current systems of any SMTP server, which is carry forwarding to you to get the file to reach to respective place, it receives with the to address, with along with the from address, and then have subject and everything. But the file attachment should go via through a blob type only, where the
Okay.
blob is holding you. All your files been converted to zeros and ones, and that's how it has been
Oh,
reached into that particular guy. Because
okay.
it cannot take a raw video file to someone, cannot take a raw image to someone. Of course, behind the scene, this conversion happens. So the conversions are in
Mhm.
the blob format, and they would be
Okay.
zeros and ones.
Okay.
And so maybe from after the blob, they try to convert back to some format and then display the record, no UI things. To carry any large files, so we use blob. Anything you want to deal with the attachments, you would deal with the blob.
Okay.
You got an idea?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like in one of my project, when I wanted to send a file to Oracle system, So that time I have to use blob because we have a thing that we have to attach a file and we have to send it out. So attaching in a file and sending out, if let's say 6 MB, 10 MB file, you can't just like that you send it. So you have to convert them. But you need not to worry about what you're sending and how it is going, all that stuff. Convert to a blob, and then the blob automatically will convert something, attach it to. We have a snippet for that. Attachment itself an object name its address. So where you see notes and attachments, right? Any object will have notes and attachment, right? While creating object, you see a checkbox at the last says notes and attachments. If you don't create now, you don't check now. Later on, you cannot create that. So one slogan we get to, right? While trying to create a custom object. Hello.
Sorry, I was talking on mute. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So that attachment object itself is like what you say, trying to take a files from one place to another place. Or basically for that record, we're trying to put an attachment there. Tomorrow you wanted to send this attached file to some XYZ systems. Of course, we wanted to have a blob. So blob, ideally you try to deal with the files thing. Anything with the files or transferred from one location to another location. All it deals with the data. Something you wanted to format it and send it properly. Okay, so we're good there. So all I want to show you is how the data types works. And let's see, date dt system.today. System.today means it will give me today's date. The same thing is with the date time. Date time is another data type we have. So we will deal with date along with the time. So system.today will only will get the date. System.now. I wanted to get now means what? Along with the date plus time. Oh, sorry, this is still bugging. Select and then execute. So at the very beginning when I said date, it didn't print even date, I mean time there, always 00. So it is always will take this format only, but we're not considering time here. The second statement which I've given here, look at this. System.today means it will get only date. The printing format is along with the time if you think, but still we are not considering them. 000 it is. While again you process the record also, you need not to worry about it. It won't get these values there. But for date time, you see. So along with the date, I have also the current time execution of what it has been there. So 3 hour 33 minutes, 37 minutes. Is getting? So difference between date and date time. So like that, if you see here, so there are a couple of methods we have. So you wanted to add days, you can do add on days, add months. Because let's say you are in current date, right? So +2 if I give, is that? Let's say add days. You can do that also. System.today I put no dot add. So current date plus today's it should go on. So what was the previous one? It was 21 to 28, right? Now look at this. Plus 2 days when I put, so it went to the March 2nd. Yes, getting. So I added 2 days from today. So it gone to 2nd. So because 28 plus 2 it is like March 1st and then 2nd. So that's the reason we're getting this. Is getting. So this is how we add a methods and then print them. For example, how did I do? If you see here, system.today, I know it is today. Dot add 2 days. It's a method we have. So you're trying to add 2, 3, 4 as many days you want. Like not only days, you can add month. So whatever the change you want to do, you can do it. So I just move only 2 days ahead. So you can say today, whatever the ticket that you create, dot from 5 months now. That is your end date, due date. Yeah, we can do that also. Today dot add 12 months if you say. So 1 year subscription you're taking it. So like that you can add dates and then we can set a defined date while dealing with the coding stuff. Add days, add months, add years. What is the day you wanted to get today's date? So you want the format, you check want to leap year or not. Today's day means only day, today month. So if you say month, one if it gets it's something in Jan. Let me try to get this. Today dot month. So today dot month is returning an integer, so you can put them to an integer. So month is like which is this is the third month, right? So you're gonna give me third month here. 3. So few predefined methods are there, which in Salesforce that will help you to deal with. Yes, of course, I'm still on to the March in this particular org. Sorry, still on to the Feb 28 in this org. So that's the reason it is printing. This is month is 2, second month. So you can see it is returning in date like 1, 2, 3, 4. So you should assume that 1 is equal to Jan, 2 is equal to Feb. So I'm on to the date of Feb 28th. So that's the reason it's getting me to here. So any question, guys?
No, I'm good.
So what about Murthy to you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So we're just talking about the database basic. You can just still deep dive in and like other data types what we have. If you see our primitive data types, we have Boolean, date, date time, decimals. So they give a couple of examples. One of the things which I want to show is ID here. Like Salesforce ID, when we want to deal with Salesforce ID is very important. Um, so let's say when you wanted to go to account, so anytime you see a record here, let's say account are
We,
open.
we have less than a minute, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So when you open a record here, you see ID here, right? So this is ID. Based on this record, it has been populated here. So now this ID is nothing but this. So you want to store them and you want to process something, so use it. So 18-digit character we are playing with. So we'll see tomorrow again, few more things on what we're doing. So just check onto the primitive data types, it'll help you out. So tomorrow we'll full-fledged and work on the adding variables and displaying them, all that we do. Is it fine?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So more take place and then try to do install the VS Code and check it out. Okay.